Inside Boxing Daily on the Gruely Truth Sports Network. I am your co-host for Inside Boxing Daily, Mike Goodpaster. Right now, I'd like to welcome in my co-host, Jeremiah Preisser. How you doing, Jeremiah?
I'm doing very damn well. Good to be on, man. It's been a while.
It has been a while. I almost forgot what we called the show. I also forgot to thank our sponsor, the Retired Boxers Foundation. Make sure you check out the Retired Boxers Foundation with Alex Ramos, Jackie Richardson on Facebook. All right, let's start off. We saw two great fights the last 2 weeks, topped off by Derevyanchenko and Triple G on Saturday night. And I think it definitely showed slippage with Triple G, but I think it also showed how great this guy once was, that to be a banger the way he is and to be almost 38 years old and still be able to do this, I think is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most important points to be had here, other than it was a damn good fight. I mean, the fact that it was a damn good fight, fight of the year candidate is certainly one of the best points that could be made. But, the fact that Golovkin is no matter how you scored it, he's still hanging with arguably the third best middleweight in the world, like you said, at 37 years old. And you just think about, you think about the examples, and we made this case before, but how many examples are there in middleweight history of a 37-year-old guy who's considered an aggressor who's still competing at this sort of level? I mean, it's just highly uncommon. He represents an outlier in terms of that. And part of that is probably because, as everybody's saying, he's lived a clean life. He's not out there doing dumb stuff. I mean, he used to have a good work rate, a good schedule, and now the old man's starting to catch up with him. But to his credit, it's caught up with him slowly. It hasn't been a steep decline, and because of that, he's still arguably beating the third best middleweight in the world, and he's arguably 4-0 against the three best middleweights in the entire world at 34 years plus.
Yeah, and now we look ahead to who he possibly could fight next. And there's a few guys, we'll run them down. A rematch with Derevyanchenko I would rather see than the Canelo fight, and I want to see the Canelo fight. But after what I saw Saturday night, I would like to see that again.
Yeah, I think it's worth running back. I mean, you hear rumors and stuff that Golovkin was real ill. I don't know how, I don't really know what that has to do with anything. I'm not sure. Maybe he had the flu. I really don't know. I don't want to give any credence to those sort of rumors, even if high-level people are saying it, just because I don't know. And you never know how these guys are, especially with promotions and stuff. Either way, I do think it is a fight that's worth running back. It was competitive. You could argue either way. You know that the money's going to be good. I think Derevyanchenko got $7.5 million for this. Golovkin got 12, 15. I can't even remember. Paydays they're not my strong suit. I don't pay attention to them that much. But yeah, I mean, we're talking about arguably the two best. Arguably the two best middleweights outside Canelo Alvarez. And it was a competitive fight. Let's do it again. I would love to see that. They could just put it right back in Madison Square Garden. Obviously, you have strong crowds for both. Derevyanchenko is not as big of a sell, but after that, I mean, you could hear from the crowd. I don't think the crowd. A lot of people were giving the crowd shit for booing, and I wasn't sure if they were actually booing Golovkin or just booing the decision. Either way, yeah, let's run that back. I mean, at this stage, you either do something like that, or I think you play it a bit safer with Golovkin and move him into something like Riyado Murata, who is an aggressor, comes forward, can hit pretty hard, but he doesn't have the nuance of Derevyanchenko. So to me, that would be an easier test. He also sells very well, especially in Japan. I think he had something like 25 million people watching his last fight against Rob Brandt. So something like that wouldn't bother me either. And I know they were talking about before Rob Brandt upset Murata. So one of those two fights I wouldn't mind. And in fact, I wouldn't even mind a Charlo fight at this point. I mean, Charlo to me is not a divisional boogeyman. He has yet to prove that he is, if he is in fact that, which some of these people label him. But yeah, one of those fights seems fine to me.
Well, and we talked Demetrius Andrade, whatever the hell they call him. I don't care because he bores me to death. Jermall Charlo, My take is they still should fight each other to force this fight, or